summer, Mike likes machine guns.
I like machine guns.
Welcome. Episode number 2 of the Speakeasy Podcast with Mike Pappas. We've got a special guest.
Number 2.
Deuce.
Ernie Beckwith, president of Dead Air.
How y'all doing? What's up, Mike?
Hey,
What's up,
Ernie.
Hey. Welcome.
I feel so at home here.
So how did you guys meet?
You know, that's a good question. I think we had some friends in common, and I'm not exactly sure when we actually met for the first time, but after a while we just kind of knew each other. And we'd see each other sometimes, maybe we were on the same plane, and I'd be like, there's that dude from FN. I think he lives by me in Camas going down the aisle or whatever.
Yeah, I used to think the same thing. I know, same type of thing. Like, I'm not really sure how we met, but we were, again, on a lot of the same flights, going a lot of the same places. A bunch of gun industry guys going to SHOT or to the buy group shows or who knows where. And I'm like, man, I wonder where that dude lives. And turns out he lives like a couple miles from me.
Yeah, and he has a tank.
He's got a tank. Yeah.
We shared a lot of friends in common, as it were.
Yeah.
So I probably naturally, either of our names would come up in a conversation with other people from time to time.
Followed by explicatives and,
The normal.
yeah.
Ernie, I'm curious, and I know the audience would enjoy this because you have a pretty extensive background in firearms, and not just like nerding out, understanding them, selling them, all that good stuff, but using them. You did some competitions, or you used to compete. I know your dad did.
My dad still does.
Still does.
My dad is 76 years old, and he shoots an outlaw IDPA match or USPSA match every Saturday.
Wow.
So he's out there running around with the young bucks and whooping up on them. And if he loses, he calls me, and he's like, "I lost." I'm like, how'd you do? He's like, "I got second." I'm like, "And who got first?" And usually it's someone like a third of his age, So no, he's a gun guy, man. My whole family, my grandfather, my uncle, cousins, even my sister. We kind of the household we grew up in, and I've competed in some way, shape, or form since I was a kid. So rimfire stuff when I was young, and just kind of evolved into, And hey, I wasn't a great competitor by any means. I really enjoyed it. I actually started competing as I got older with my carry gun because I just wanted to get better with my carry gun because I carried a gun every day at my job. And, I enjoyed it. But I never really strayed into, the whole 2011 STI world. I rocked the Glock 17 and, I did pretty well with it. And that's really how I got into that. And when I went to go work for FN, I was shooting 3-gun a bit and in between work trips, but was on the team there really more as a peripheral member just because I didn't have the time to dedicate because my job was pretty demanding at the time. So I got to shoot as much as I could when I could.
Nice. And then didn't you do some training too? Like you used to do some coaching and training with?
Yeah. I worked for a small company called Adapt Solutions for a while. I kind of switched careers. I was into motorsports for a long time, and the war happened, and I quit my job and took a job making $14 an hour at a gun store in Las Vegas, and just because I wanted to learn the industry. And I got to tell you, I got mad respect for the guys that work behind the counter in gun stores, and I know Mike's worked at his share of gun stores too. And you ever want to know something about the industry or about products and competing products? There's no better guy to talk to than the guy behind the counter. These guys live and breathe it. They're passionate about it. And, when I was at FN, we created a team of road guys, and we plucked a lot of those guys right from behind the counter. They're ambitious, and again, they knew our products and the competitors' products. So it worked out really well.
We found Tim Orrick in a gun store.
That's right.
I think Gary did that.
Yeah.
Hired Tim.
Isn't that kind of Tasson's background too? Outside of law enforcement, he was a gun counter guy.
That's right. We got Tasson from Gallinson's.
That's right. I met Tasson. I had not realized that he was working at Dead Air. I recognized his face from the Gallinson's days, and but there's a lot of good guys in the who have kind of moved up through the industry, started at gun retail, and I'll tell you, I think it's a great place for for people to really kind of build their foundation and whatnot. So,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
You don't realize what you don't know about firearms until you start working in a retail gun store, and then all the things that you weren't really super interested in, you get to learn that as well.
That's right.
Otherwise, I would never do revolver, shotgun stuff, but the retail gun store environment kind of puts you into that a little bit. So
Yeah,
I pick up on it.
I never thought, or I shouldn't say that. I didn't realize how little I knew about guns until working with you guys, because I always thought well, and it's to your point, like, you know, you guys were all started there behind the counter, and like I can't tell you how thankful I am for Tassin, especially when we're like in, you know, the Instagram messaging and there's all these technical questions, and I'm just blown away by the knowledge, and you know, I feel like I should quit for a little bit, go work behind a gun counter for a while, and come back.
Don't
No, I'm just
say
kidding.
that,
I
Rich.
wouldn't do
You
that.
can't quit. Sorry.
Okay, I'm just kidding. Can we edit that?
No, when I came on board, I mean, you know, this whole segment's pretty new to me, and I feel pretty lucky. I kind of fell into this to work with him and you, and you know, for me, it's going back to school. I never realized how much I didn't know about suppressors and the whole silencer world till I came here, and I feel pretty lucky. So,
Well, I think that's the same feeling that everyone gets when they start at a gun store.
yeah,
You know what all the stuff is, but you haven't really taken the technical deep dive into it because you weren't super, super interested on your own.
yeah,
Like, I had shotguns, but that's one thing I learned a little bit about in retail. I'm just not a big shotgun guy. I mean, I get you need them, and like I can work one and everything, but learning about all the different kinds of, you know, break open and
forcing cones and chokes.
yes,
and,
exactly,
you know,
and
all
cylinder
that
bore
stuff.
and
Yep.
auto ejection and manual, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I just thought that you opened it up and put new ones in or put them in the mag.
Yeah. I started to shoot like these charity sporting clays events that my previous employer would get us involved in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna rock it. You know, we're gonna shoot some clays, and you know, everything I'd ever shot my whole life had sights on it. So I'm looking at the sights, and I'm like, wow, I'm really not good at this. It was humbling, and I was made fun of. But I'm like, man, I'm gonna learn this, you know, and I tell you what, I started shooting sporting clays, and man, I really enjoyed it. You know, but I guess it's kind of like golf, and like, you know, you can go 0 to 0 and a couple different events, and you know, I had a good day today. I shot in the 80s or 90s, and the next day I go out and I shoot in like the 60s or 50s, and I always just say, you know, when you break open a shotgun, it kind of resembles a boomerang when you throw it across the field. So, but I still enjoy it, and I need to get a new shotgun. You know, I enjoy shooting clays with my buddies, but man, it was a big learning curve for me.
Have you ever played gun golf?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, it is a fun
Like long range gun golf?
No, so it's skeet shooting.
Okay.
They've got a huge range in Dallas. It's one of the largest that are like, it's pretty close to the city limits. Anyways, and it's literally a golf course, but it's each hole is a different challenge of skeet shooting. And you get in a golf cart, you throw in your shotguns with your buddies, and it's just golfing with skeet shooting. It's awesome. It is a lot of fun.
Wow, that's cool.
It's addicting.
Yeah. I know there's a place, and I'm sorry I can't remember the name of it, but there's a place up on the Utah border up north, and they do kind of like a long-range gun golf thing. So
cool.
it's like, yeah, they have targets out at distance, you bang the target, you move to another location. And
I think they went out of business. Wasn't it
that's a shame.
something Springs? Cold Springs?
Something like that. Yeah.
It's been years since I've been there, but I don't think
Yeah.
they have it anymore.
Oh, that's too bad.
And if they're not out of business, we're sorry. We know that you're never going to come on the podcast now.
So how long were you at FN?
About 9 years. So,
Wow.
Yeah. I tell you what, I wouldn't trade that experience for the world. I mean, you know, it was when I went to go work in gun retail, I always knew that I wanted to kind of progress You know, the gun retail thing for me, I worked at 2 different locations at dealers in Las Vegas, and which was a great opportunity simply because, you know, the amount of volume of people that you see there. And then also the first place I worked was a giant machine gun rental facility, and hundreds of machine guns. And we had our armor / gunsmith there was, you know, sort of a legend in that world. And I mean, his name was Tony D, and I can't thank him enough for, you know, kind of the tutelage he gave me. And it was kind of fun. You know, I'd walk into work and he'd like, Beckwith, come over here. I'm like, oh geez, here we go. He'd throw a pile of parts on the table and like, tell me what all that is. I'm like, oh, I'll get back to you on that. Or in the words of our current press secretary, I'll circle back with you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Tony sounds hardcore.
Tony's hardcore. Yeah, we all call him the Godfather, and you know, he's an Italian guy, and you know, like plastic on the couch kind of Italian guy.
That's awesome.
And he's a hoot man, and he was real good to all of us and mentored us through a lot of stuff. And let me tell you what, I mean, he's got Lotties and all kinds of crazy stuff. And you know, one day I asked him, like, hey, I'm trying to find this shotgun. And this is before I was working at FN, and I wanted, I wanted one of their gas-operated semi-auto guns to shoot competition with. And he's like, I'll call you on Saturday. You available on Saturday? And I'm like, yeah, I'm available. I'm like, all right. So he did. He called me on Saturday. He goes, come to my house. Can you be at my house in an hour? I'm like, sure, dude. I'm on my way. And so I get down. He's like, get in the car. We're going to go visit somebody. So he takes me to this pawn shop in like the north end of Vegas.
If you don't know Vegas,
The north end's a rough spot.
yeah, that can be.
Yeah, this was a rough
Scary.
hood, man. I mean, and he's like, "You bring a gun?" I'm like, "Yeah, thank God." But we get out. We had to get buzzed in through some like expanded metal door. And we walk in. Then we had to get buzzed into the back room. And as we walk into the back room is probably 4 times the size of this garage and just racks of guns. And I was like, whoa, this place is a gold mine back here. And so Tony goes to the guy that was in the back room. Hey, you got that shotgun I told you about? He's like, hey, I'll get it. So here he comes, brand new, FN, their gas operated gun, unfired. And I'm like, that's it. That's the one, and like, how much? He's like, how much you want to give me for it? I'm like, I don't know. Just give me a price, dude. I'll pay. He's like, how about $250? I'm like, done. And it was like an $1,100 shotgun, So, and I shot that shotgun competitively up until I went to go work for FN. So that was the one FN product I had when I came to FN.
That's cool, though. Just
because it ran, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat those things. And so.
Is that like a SLP?
It was the SLP Mark I, yeah. So it was
Nice.
the longer barreled one, and had that little flip up sight, which is kind of cool for, shooting slugs at distance. And
That's a nice gun.
yeah, man, it was awesome. I mean, I had one when I was on the shooting team there, and, it was blue. It was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, we ran the heck out of those things. And, the good thing about them was because they were gas operated, you could shoot, high brass stuff in them, or you could shoot light loads in them. And also it wasn't very finicky at all.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was your favorite weapon at FN?
The machine guns, man. Come on, I think anybody who works at FN, man, you gotta have a love for the things they make. And, there's nothing like shooting, 240s and 249s. And, I didn't really get to touch a lot of the 50 cal stuff. It was around. It just wasn't in my realm of what I did. But, we had a developmental technology center, which is a very nondescript place. And the vault in the developmental technology center is impressive.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, man. I mean, and it's not a place that everybody got to go in. It's really not for the public. But, every time I got to go there to either teach or take a class, I'm like, hey, man, can I go in the vault? And so, I mean, we saw, very low serial number scars, single digits. And,
Wow.
some of the prototype stuff that still had the 249, grip on it, and like unfinished barrels and things. FNC lowers and all kinds of stuff, and some Olympic guns and just really neat stuff. So
That's pretty cool. I'm sure the FN fans out there are like, what?
yeah.
Tell me more, Ernie.
Well, that's actually how I knew about Tim Orrick.
Okay.
So I knew about Tim before I came to work here, and he worked at a Colonial Shooting Academy in Virginia,
Correct.
and he had a page on Facebook. And, and I got invited to be on that page. And, I was like, man, I'm like an amateur on this page. These guys are, they're pretty well schooled in this world. And Tim was a big FN guy, and he had actually been to this building and had been in the vault. I'm like, how'd you get in there? And he's like, oh, I know somebody. So
Tim gets around.
Tim gets around, and, and of our guys, man, he's that guy that can truly appreciate what's in there. So
I'd like to go in there.
yeah, I don't have any pull anymore, man.
I know Rich.
I got kicked to the curb.
Don't say that. I bet you could get us in there.
I don't think so.
I know Rich didn't really ask me, but I'd like to say the 249 is my favorite. I know it should be the 240. I get that. But for cost of firing and smoothness and ease of controllability, I'm a 249 fan.
Yeah.
Plus, it takes those sweet NATO mags in the side. Like, I don't know how you beat that.
Nah, those are awesome guns, and luckily we got to play with almost every variant and whatnot, and it was those are good days at work. So
Yes.
but
I like an M27 Link.
yeah,
I can't help it.
yeah.
Didn't we fire one of those with Staley?
Staley, that was a PKM.
Okay.
Close. That's
Still
like
fun.
that's the other team's
The other
go-to.
team's 249, bro.
Sorry.
30 cal machine gun.
Sorry.
General purpose,
Yeah.
go-getter.
Yep. So
That's awesome.
well, how about this? Like, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So
The tables have turned.
tables have turned. So how did you find your way here? How did you get hooked up with this guy?
Well, we did cover that a little bit in episode 1.
I haven't seen it. So.
That's okay. Yeah, that'll air soon.
No one has.
No one has yet. Well, I technically have.
At some point, I hope 5 people will not be able to say that.
Our fabulous producer, Marcus. It was a beautiful episode. So Mike and I like to joke around and say that I was a gun bunny at a range day event
You were.
in Texas. Is when I had my long flowing locks. I'm pretty sure I was the only guy in a t-shirt there. It was pretty chilly that day, I remember, but I just ran hot because I was about 270, 275 when I met you.
Wow.
I don't know.
What are
There
you
was-
now?
240.
You look the same to me. Big and powerful.
Yeah. And so Mike befriended me because I was a big guy, and he's like, sometimes I've got loose lips, and if someone says something, I need you to be here to take them out.
Once in a while, in initiating a conversation, I guess I've said the wrong thing a few times.
Yeah. So that's where the magic happened, really. And
Yep.
and I legit was sad when you had to cut out during dinner. You guys ended up, you and Anson took off. And
We didn't have to, but we had things to do.
yeah. Yeah. And it was kind of like watching a girl you had a crush on, leave, and then
Another dude.
yeah, and then I was like wondering, am I gonna see him again? I better get his contact information.
You should have came with us.
I should have.
We went into town and raised a little cane, as the kids would say.
I couldn't though because Rudy was there and he had my attention. Sorry.
Understand.
But actually, speaking of Rudy, I spoke with him today. And Rudy Reyes, former Recon Marine, for those of you who don't know who he was or is, he played a pretty impactful role during the first wave in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then they made a HBO series, and he starred in his own. He played himself.
Was that Generation Kill?
Yeah. So he's an exciting human being.
He's full of energy.
He is, yeah. He's like, I don't know how to describe it, but he'll be on the show. He just said that he'd love to come on. So
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that. You'll just have to experience it.
So yeah, that was a pretty. And then I don't even know if I covered this, but we just got to talking. I was doing my networking thing. It was like, hey, if you guys at Dead Air ever need any extra marketing help in any way, I'd love to put my name in the hat. And it turned into, I don't even really know. Like there were some things I could see that I could help you guys with, and I made those suggestions on my own, and then it turned into, what else could you do? What else can you see yourself doing? And then we kind of created the position almost.
Well, I think we really needed a in-house media guy. Mm-hmm. You know, a little bit more push in that direction.
Yeah.
We knew that and had talked about it on and off a little here and there over, you know, time, and then it just seemed like a good fit. Rich also mentioned, he said, regardless, I'm moving to Utah. Mm-hmm. It's really words I like.
Where was he? He was in Texas?
Dallas, yeah. My wife and I had made our minds up because it was around the COVID time. The Dallas natives were crazy people. And there's 7.5 million people in the Dallas Metroplex area. So I called myself a prepper before I met Mike. I'm very, very
amateur.
Yeah, I'm very amateur. But I was unsettled, you know, and I was, you know, we always needed to make our way back to the mountains, and Utah was the spot. So I committed. I was like, I don't care if I get a 15 an hour job working at Home Depot. We've made the commitment. And so I was really crossing my fingers. I was like, oh, I really hope something happens with Dead Air, because working at Home Depot isn't ideal. I was feeding 3 kids. So, yeah.
Better than being in such a dense amount of people, though.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It makes me nervous, anxious. It's hard. I get it.
It's been an awesome year, to say the least. And I'm obviously, people could hear me say that, and you're just saying that because you're at work right now. But no, it's been incredible.
Yeah, it's been.
But technically, you are getting paid to say it.
This is true.
So
yeah,
you people are also right.
I am not afraid to say I have probably one of the coolest jobs out there, and I constantly am reminded by my buddies. Yeah. You know, especially working with Mike. Like, there are some Mike fans that will reach out to me on my personal Instagram and be like, what's it like?
Shut up.
I'm not kidding. One guy was like, Mike is he's on another level of genius. He's like a savant when it comes to guns, just the knowledge and what you know. Like, I could ask you anything about it and you'll have the correct answer. I'm confident in that.
Only once in a while.
I don't know. You don't give yourself enough credit. But
No, I've been around a lot of gun guys, and you know, one of the most intriguing things about coming to work here was, you know, working with Mike, and like I said, you know, if you're going to work in the silencer industry, who better to work with? So, you mean it's not just washers and tubes? No, it's not. So, you know, it's.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Sorry,
you can't just go to the Home Depot and make one and form one it? Mm-mm. Okay.
Well, you can.
So Ernie,
he
recruited or whatever. You were on a path to doing whatever you want. You were pimping out your Jeep. You were about to go ride in that thing for like a year.
I was gonna. So I kind of had a forced vacation in 2020
from FN, right?
From FN.
Yeah.
But, you know, it turned out to be a good thing. You know, working there was awesome. I mean, it's super intense, a lot of travel, you know, and again, I wouldn't trade my experience there for anything. But, you know, it was a lot of time away from home. And so I was thankful to have a break. And yeah, I was hiking a lot. I got a dog, trying to get back in shape, pounding out miles in the mountains every week. And, I really wasn't planning on doing much this year. Like you said, I got a Jeep. I've been building that thing out because I was essentially going to travel around and visit people and hike all over the country, just because I haven't had a chance to really do anything for a long time. And
this Jeep is outfitted.
It's getting there. Yeah. It's getting there.
For those of you who are Jeep fans, this guy could literally live out of it, right?
Yeah, it's got a fridge and a stove and all that kind of stuff now. But
the Jeep is cool.
The Jeep's getting there, yeah. But no, it's kind of funny. I remember the day that he and Eric called me, Eric Rogers, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I think my response was, "I'm sitting on the couch in my underwear, watching YouTube with my dog." Like, "Oh, do you want to come and run our company?" I'm like right now?
Well, next week. But.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really how it all started. And, it's been a pretty intense ride here as well. The company's grown significantly. And man, so, we're going through a lot of scaling to meet demand, and, the market's going gangbusters, and, it's challenging for sure. And, we want to do things right. And, one of the things that, after Mike and I talked the first time was like, man, I better learn something. So they're asking me to do this. I better teach myself a little bit about the segment. So I literally dropped myself in front of the TV, and I watched every interview with Mike and Gary back in the day. And I got to tell you, man, I learned a ton, and
tell me you loved some of our vlogs.
Come on, man. It's awesome. And it's, things are a little more lighthearted here than they were at my previous employer. So it's nice to be able to have a little fun, and not that I didn't have fun there, but it's definitely a different type of environment. That being said, the business has grown so much that, we're really trying to put a lot more infrastructure in place and systems that we didn't have. And, so it's been a wild ride so far, but.
Yeah, we have, if you don't like the way it is now, wait till next week. It'll change.
Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of things on tap in terms of things internally at the company, as well as working on new products. I think our product designers and engineers are getting a little tired of me being in their ear. Like, I need dates. When are we going to do this?
I love it because I need more things to market.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that I don't have enough on my plate already, but I'm just really excited to share with our audience. I mean, I know what we're working on.
Yeah.
And I hear it, and I hear the process and the pieces coming together, and I hear you, yelling at him like, hey, let's get moving with a knife hand, just like, come on, dates.
Well, I mean, working with Mike and, Todd McGee and Mike Smith, I mean, that's one thing we can really stand behind the stuff that we make, and I'm really looking forward to the new products we have coming out. And so stay tuned. 2021, if we get this stuff out, it's going to be a good year.
It is. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So
the industry is too. We hear it every day.
Every day.
Yeah. So.
We're trying, guys. Trust me.
We're going as fast as we can on that front. Plus, it's not like there's not more than just a little teeny bit of extra demand out there.
Yeah.
I think Uncle Joe's driving some sales for us.
I'm still hesitant to thank him, but keep us employed.
I am too. I don't think I would even dare talk to Camula either.
Camula.
I don't think.
You would complete.
Yeah.
It's Kamala.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Camula.
Camula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like caramel.
Yeah,
I'll thank him when he forgives everyone of their federal student loans, because then I'll be completely debt free.
He's not going to forgive everyone. No. It's a select few that meet a certain criteria, and it's only a small amount.
It's like $50,000 he caps it at, right? I think.
Wait, that's actually legitimately happening? Because I have not been following the news.
I thought it was like 10 or 15 or something.
I'm uninformed.
They change it every day.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, I got rid of satellite TV. I got like a digital antenna. I got this big TV with a digital antenna. I watch a lot of Magnum PI reruns, and
nice.
The Price is Right.
Yep, a little bit of Eric Estrada on chips. Get my LE in, but there's a lot of things I didn't realize about Magnum when I was a kid watching that. Like, didn't really know he was a SEAL.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Can I stop and say the thing that I don't get about him is he can pick any lock, but he never uses a tension wrench. He just puts in the pick, and I'm like, it doesn't work like that, you people.
Well, okay, I got a story about that. So I happened to, in passing, kind of mention to Mike that I was really interested in learning how to pick locks. So one day he calls me up and says, what are you doing? He's like, hey, come over, we'll have some garage time. So I walk in, and the tables are set up over there, and there's like a box of lock pick kits and all these locks on the table. And we had these locks that were issued to us at FN for our cases.
Oh, yes.
When we traveled. And that was the first type of lock I learned how to pick. And 5 seconds, maybe.
Pretty easy.
I think it took longer to actually like find the right pick or the shim than it did actually pick the lock. I'm like, wow, this is easier than I thought. But then we went through some other lock types that weren't very easy, and so I came away with a very basic understanding of how to utilize a lock pick kit. And
I call it next. I want to learn.
well, I went home that night and I pull in the driveway. I'm like, I'm gonna pick the lock to my house, and I did.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
Wow, I have shit locks on my house. But
That's when Ernie learned that quick sets weren't exactly high security as they like to say on the package.
yeah, quick opening. So it's pretty cool.
I use them because they're easier to pick when you forget your keys.
I don't know what it is about my neighbors, but where I live, they don't mind sharing that they don't lock their doors.
Yeah.
And we're in a very safe neighborhood, high up in the mountains. It's kind of hard to get there, especially in the winter. And Mike judges me for that.
No, I don't.
You do. I do need to get out. It's awful.
Okay, I do a little, but I don't like to admit it.
It's like San Francisco up in the mountains, and we get when Park City gets 4 inches of snow, we're getting a foot.
Yeah.
Well, it's like San Francisco, but substitute the free shot needles for snow. It's deep.
Yes, it is. Touche. So how are we doing on time? 40 minutes. Wow. Mike, do you think we should go into things you hate and things you like? And maybe, Ernie, you could jump in on this.
I don't know. I think have I told people what
He's throwing a log on the
A
fire.
little more wood on the fire here. By the way, if you don't know, Mike's got the mother of all wood stoves in the garage.
He does. That thing gets
So,
warm quick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's supposed. Speaking of snow, we're supposed to get like 2 weeks worth up here. It's gonna start today, and it's not gonna stop. We're gonna get a lot.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I know it comes with the territory living up here, but we've been pretty spoiled this year. We haven't had much, and it's been nice.
I think that's gonna kind of crush Mike's dreams of a drought coming this year, because the more snow we get, the less likely there's gonna be a drought.
No, we're still gonna have a drought. We haven't gotten anything this year. So
Well, if we do get a lot of snow, it'll be gone in no time.
Yeah.
It's so warm, and the days are too long for it to stay.
Yeah, all the skiers and snowboarders will love it, but us landlubbers over here,
I hate the traffic.
I hate the traffic and the snow.
A drought would ease the traffic and population situation that we're entering.
Yeah.
Our town's actually busy now.
Should we give a shout out to our sponsor?
Oh, yeah. I should have done that earlier. Forgive me. I know they sponsor us, but we are sponsored by Kroger, and we're enjoying purified drinking water.
With added minerals?
Not just 16 ounces, but 16.9. I call them little magnums. Thank you, Kroger.
I'd like to point out, too, this it's a non-BPA water bottle.
It burns just fine. I don't know what that means, but
It's true.
The chemicals in the plastic aren't going to kill you as fast.
that's why they sponsor us. It's a great product. I strongly recommend that you go out to your local Kroger dealership, as it were, or wherever you get it, and get yourself some.
Yes. So things Mike hates, things Mike likes. You start wherever you want.
Last time, did I say I really hate it when people put oversized tires on military
You did say
vehicles?
that.
Good. I'd like to re-say it. Just so we know. I don't really have a great list right now. I do have a little list of things I hate, but I don't hate them well enough to know right off the top of my head.
Okay, things Mike kind of hates.
Why don't I put a little list together for episode 3?
Okay.
And then I can rattle down a list for you.
What's on your mind this week for things that you like? Could be any category. Food, guns.
Again, there's not really a lot of things I like. I'm going to have to think about that.
Am I putting you on the spot?
Well, I just don't know. I don't have anything like burning that I'm super excited about, like right this minute.
Is there a specific tool in your Snap-on that's just super convenient for you right now? I can tell you one thing that you really like that you've been talking a lot about, and that's those LED headlights.
I do like an LED headlight.
They're warm.
These particular ones are warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not all that way.
Has the hammer debuted on the podcast?
Ooh, that's another one. You've had this since he's 12. This is a relic, guys. Let's see the
It's
hammer.
not a relic.
Well,
It's
okay.
a great hammer. It's timeless. I'll show it to you. I will.
We're gonna grab the
Let
hammer.
me get it.
And before we grab it, picture this in the audience. Mike is 12 years old, and he's holding this thing. Look at the size of that thing. Hold it up there, Mike.
I've used that my whole life. I made my living for like 18 years as a professional mechanic, always with me. Ernie came over and said, "How long did it take you to get those tools?" And I was like, "Check this out. I've got this hammer I know I got when I was 12, and it wasn't in there. My wife had taken it out and taken it inside. So I panicked. I looked all over, and I couldn't find it. And I'm going through my mind like, what kind of an animal borrows another guy's hammer? Like, I don't even have any friends like that. All my friends have hammers.
So there we go. A thing that Mike hates. Don't take his hammer.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to borrow a tool, but not bringing it back is pretty unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
He really did panic too.
That's
Like
I
we
can
were,
see it.
yeah, I don't know what we were doing, but he was worried. And we had moved on to another subject, and he paced about here. It's like, where's my hammer?
I didn't wake my wife up, but I certainly questioned her in the morning. Do you know where my hammer's at? You know the one I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know.
I see a PVC patch coming in the near future.
She said, I think it's upstairs. Maybe my dad, her dad, my father-in-law was using it. So she's like, why don't you go up there and look? And I was like, okay, I don't want to seem too anxious. But she turned around. I ran up there and got it.
Yes. Needless to say, that is a very important tool to Mike.
Well, I've just used it a lot, and I could replace it with another hammer, which would be just a hammer. Mm-hmm. But this hammer has traveled since 1958 to get here right now. You know that movie?
No.
That was a little old No Country for Old Men reference.
Oh, yeah,
for
okay,
you.
okay. Yeah.
Eric knows that movie.
Yeah.
It's not just a hammer, but it is just a hammer.
Yep. And for those of you who don't know, like, it's a pretty epic toolbox.
Yeah, that thing empty is like $30,000.
So
correct?
Yeah,
jealous.
I know you don't like to talk about
that's
dollars.
a lifetime of tool collection there.
Wow.
I started that collection prepubescent, as it were.
Right there.
I have toolbox envy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
epic. I worked with some guys that had some pretty big boxes, and but not like that.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic.
And it's not just the box, because what's in it is
It's all Snap-on.
way cool.
Well,
If there's no gearheads out there, and I'm not a gearhead, I mean, I can change the oil in my car and the battery and basic stuff, but what would you say? One of those little ratchets that goes, I mean, I think you were telling me it's like $60 for one.
Yeah. $60 would be a less expensive one for sure.
Just like the little ratchet piece to it.
Yeah, it's a long-term thing.
Yeah.
The problem that I've had is I've always worked at mom and pop shops, and I work on a wide variety of things. I'll do big truck, generator, car, chainsaw, whatever. So I don't have the luxury of a race car driver, mechanic guy has. I'm like, where's the tools, bro?
That got steep.
They're like, well, I'm just saying it's specialty, right? So you only have so many sizes. You don't need a bunch of stuff that you only use on rare occasion. And when you go to work on your race car, you don't have any Subaru damper pullers with you. So
One thing I learned is, remember the bike that I invested in that had all the issues at the beginning when I bought it? Mike saved me a few times on the side of the freeway. That you've never worked on Harleys?
I didn't really save you. I just kind of waited for the tow truck with you and then took you to work.
Yeah, but that was, I mean, you saved me.
To save, I was like, yeah, I don't think it's going to start, and it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think even Sonny Barger doesn't ride a Harley anymore. You know, the founder of the Hells Angels.
No way.
Yeah.
What would he
I
ride?
think he
Indian?
I think he rides a Victory. So, yeah. Well, at least he did when I asked that question years ago. But
No comment. I'm not going to say anything about that guy.
No, don't say anything. Sorry, Sonny.
Whatever you're riding, I'll get next.
We don't want any trouble.
No.
Right. So,
Well, mine is it's nostalgic. I really wanted it. It took me years to find this bike, at least in its purest form. The only thing I had to change on it was the handlebars. The guy who bought these hideous T-bars. But ever since I saw Terminator 2 as a little boy, I was in love with the Fat Boy. It was a 92 Fat Boy that Arnold was riding on. And so I had to find it, and I found it. And I had traded 2 guns to drop the price down, and then was able to purchase it this year. And I've been pretty happy with that.
And Rich loves it.
Mm-hmm. Mike hates it.
I don't hate it, but it's loud.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk on the phone when Rich is coming, going, or out there for some odd reason, warming it up at high RPMs.
Mm-hmm.
that'll
You can
change, though,
imagine.
right? We're going to move into a new building and new office with doors and offices.
Yeah, that is true. Did we
Yeah.
talk about that in the first episode?
No, I don't think we did.
Did we? No. Guys, we're moving.
Yeah.
We're going to be officially Park City address, not Park City property, but we're Park City.
Yeah, well, we're in Summit County,
Yeah.
unincorporated, but we'll have Park City on our address, so we'll be able to be pretentious about it.
For those locals that know where Kimball Junction is, we're very close to there. We're going to be neighbors to the Park City Gun Club.
That's right.
Yeah, we are. I think we did talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We're going to be hanging out at the Park City Gun Club.
Which means I'm guessing probably episode 3. No, maybe 4. I think the next episode we might have Neil Curry on over at Ready Gunner. And I'm sure a lot of our followers know who that guy is. Awesome dude. But we're going to be rebuilding, or building, I should say, a new set in the new HQ, which I'm really excited about. So
None of this back
early
up?
episodes will be tank episodes. Oh, very excited.
But they won't be worth any more.
No. Well, no, they would.
No, they wouldn't. Even though they're earlier.
People could refer back. It's the episode with the tank in it. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Isn't that when they started? Didn't they have 2 listeners? Or is that when they got the 4 listeners? We're about to get a non-employee guest, so stay tuned.
Oh, moving up.
Yeah, they pluck the low-hanging fruit.
We're doing what we can with what we have to work with.
We should call Rodney out on this episode. Rodney was supposed to be on episode 2.
Yeah. Thanks, Rod.
Rodney,
Bailed.
well, wouldn't call him Rodney, but Rod,
sorry.
he had exposure. I don't know if you guys realize this, but there's a pandemic raging in the U.S.
What's it called?
It's called COVID-19.
Oh, I heard about that. I thought we were in COVID-20 now.
It all happens outside of Camas, though. So
I predicted they would call it COVID-20, and I'm hurt that they haven't yet because I said that for months. Wait till the new year, they're going to start calling it COVID-20 and say it's a different strain. And all they said was it's a different and more deadly strain, but they didn't change it to the name. I'd have changed the name, upgraded it, freshened it.
Yeah.
So Rod was uncomfortable because he had exposure to this raging pandemic.
Which is fine. We get it.
I
did say we'll pretend it doesn't exist, if you will. He was like, I was like, I'm just kidding. Like, do your thing, be safe.
we know Rod's not trying to kill us.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. We did have a buddy that worked there, though, and he got really sick.
That's
Super
true.
sick.
Yeah, he had like 107 fever.
Jeez.
And his kidneys started to shut down. And
Wow.
he wasn't 70 years old. You know, he's recently recently, I don't know if you call it retired or whatever, but he's not retired, but he was a SEAL team guy, you know, and he's like, what, 36?
Yeah,
So,
good
so
shape.
Yeah, so
Strong.
super fit, strong guy, and so,
Wow.
you know, and I called him just to make sure he was doing okay, and he had just left the hospital, and it did not sound like him on the phone.
Wow.
Yeah, he was hurting, so.
He's good now.
He's good now,
Good.
yeah. But
That's
it was touch and go for a couple of days, I
Yeah.
guess, so.
I don't mean to seem insensitive by joking about it at all. I did get it, and I was fortunate to be asymptomatic,
Yeah,
which was nice because I have asthma, and I guess that means you're more high risk.
yeah. What would have been funny is if you were with Mike and I when we went to go have our COVID test. So,
Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
uh,
Mike opted for the anal
Yeah.
test, right? I'm just kidding.
They didn't have that available at the time as a choice.
so we were in the Jeep and we went to Park City Hospital and the two of us sitting side by side spitting into a vial was
I can see it.
was pretty funny.
You guys didn't have to do the up the nose?
No.
No. Oh. No, I did do that. I had a second
That
COVID
sucked.
test. Yeah, they like scratched my brain.
Yeah.
I was like, really, dude?
Yeah.
That deep?
You know, the funny thing, here's a hilarious story, and leave it to my family to be the most dramatic on the planet in a COVID testing facility in a line. We pull up, my 3-year-old's in the back seat. She starts vomiting violently for no reason. She wasn't even sick. We had no idea why. Lunch and breakfast just all over. And the windows are rolled down. I've got my 6-year-old sticking her head out. Is it going to pop up and throw up? And they're loud, crying and screaming. And the nurses are like, is everything okay? And I was like, it's the end of the world. We're all going to die. Anyways, long story short, they stick the thing up my nose, and I'm tearing up, and I'm like, holy, this is terrible. And my wife's like, it's not that bad. And I was like, just wait, you're next. And then she goes, oh my gosh, this is awful. It sucked, but
You
yeah.
ever had a nasal pharyngeal put up your nose?
Is that what that is?
I don't know. I don't know what they use. I've never had the nasal test, but I had some med training years ago, and
It's that
Where you-
long,
the little trumpet
Q-tip.
thing.
yeah, you know, and there's all different diameters. Well, they only had one size,
extra large.
you know, and I didn't realize I have small nostrils, so they tried to force that thing up my nose. So the good part was I got to do it to the guy that did it to me.
Yes. Okay, your turn.
So, yep.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what does this have to do with being shot? And then I learned. So, but no, super uncomfortable.
I'll be ready. I'm excited for this whole thing to be over with so that I can start. Honestly, like, I kind of miss seeing people's faces.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think we're going to be on and off the mask forever now.
You think we'll be kind of conditioned like some of these other countries?
I do.
Yeah.
Paranoid people.
To be used as needed.
Yeah.
You know, I will say this. One of the things that I've noticed is that I think, you know, the whole keeping people inside and cooped up, and then they go out into the world. And I tell you what, I've noticed people go from like 0 to 100,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, in terms of volatility.
Well, yeah, that couple in Pennsylvania recently, we were talking about that earlier today. That guy snapped on him. And I know that was like years of
Torment.
harassment from those
But
people.
still,
Yeah.
I think people generally are a little bit quicker to violence and anger than they used to be. It's what it
Definitely.
feels like.
Definitely.
And people that shouldn't be. Like I was telling you that story of that gentleman who was mad at me for going the speed limit, got out of his truck to tell me that I was a terrible driver, and then I get out of my truck and he's like, I'm not, and I was like, I'm good. You don't scare me. We're good, dude. That's cool. But he just had that attitude, and it's like, why are you so quick to, you don't know who I am or how bad of a day I'm having.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
It is. It's
I'm
sad.
being a more and more courteous driver all the time.
Yeah.
You're helping me with that. I did give Mike some credit earlier. He's tamed the tiger, as it were, in me.
Yeah.
I get less tickets now. It's nice.
It's not worth it, man.
Yeah.
No,
I'll
it's
say
not.
this too: the heavier the Jeep gets, the slower I go.
I just see you. Sorry. There's a lot of steep mountain and hills out here.
yeah.
So
That's right.
And we're not exactly big believers in guardrails either.
no,
When
I
you
have
go
noticed that.
into other places, I'm like, what's with all the fantastic guardrails that you people have? We don't have those. You go down into the ravine in Utah,
Yeah.
they'll find you in the spring.
That's right.
That's what happened up to Brighton. Some young buck was in his heavy-duty diesel, and he decided to rev his engine up on that pass.
Yeah.
Lost
all that
control.
torque work in the snow.
Yeah, idiot. Lost his traction, went straight off. Just no guardrail.
No guardrail.
Think twice next time he wants to try to blow some coal to impress all the people that don't care around him.
He's probably still doing it.
Yeah, he probably is. That's true.
Dude, Utah's hardcore. You know, when I moved here initially, I moved to Moab, and I think I was in town like 8 hours, and I saw a dude right off the cliff on Poison Spider. I was like,
Goodness.
I'm like, this is hardcore, man. That dude died. Like, I don't know about these trails. So
Well, okay then.
Time flies by when you're having fun.
I guess we better, God forbid someone's still listening, it's time to switch the channel.
Give us a little sign off, Mike.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate any kind of listenership. And don't forget to find us on Facebook, Instagram. We're on a thing called the internet.
Yeah.
deadairsilencers.com.
Subscribe, share with your homies.
Reach out to us via whatever platform you want. If you have a question, we also have info@deadairsilencers.com.
We respond to everything too, guys.
Yes, we absolutely will. So if there's anything we can help you with product question-wise, or if you want life advice, just say that at the start of your email, and we'll get that right to Rich.
Coming up, guys, we got some exciting episodes. Fieldcraft Survival is going to be joining us, which is exciting. We got Neil, Ready Gunner. Well, Neil's at Ready Gunner, but and then I think we're going to have Rudy Reyes. I did mention that earlier, so stay tuned.
I think all those guys moved to Heber, right?
Did they?
Mike Glover.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Or
yeah.
Park City area.
Fieldcraft?
Yeah, I
Fieldcraft,
think
yeah.
they're based out of Heber now.
Yeah.
I kind of want to learn how to navigate with a compass.
They can teach you there.
I've got a book and a compass, but I'm too lazy to get them out. But maybe this is the inspiration that I've needed.
Yeah.
I think I should come with you and we should film this experience.
I know they teach a class on it. Mm-hmm. I'd like to do that. Well,
Yeah, they do some cool stuff. They have mobility classes and in terms of overlanding and four-wheeling. And matter of fact, I just was looking at Mike's page this morning because he just put a goose gear system in the back of his Land Cruiser.
And you're taking notes because you're going to do it?
I already have one in my Jeep.
nice.
So, but no,
I don't
like
want
those
it.
guys.
I don't want to eat bark or bugs or build a fire with sticks.
Yeah. That's why I have a fridge.
Which
Because
is-
ice melts. Air gets warm.
Which is why it's going to be a good episode, because Mike approaches survival and preparedness in a very different way. So I'm excited to have them on.
It's an older, gentler approach.
If you want to stay home, this is how you do it.
Look, we're not going to build any stick shelters and put snow and pine boughs on them. Not at my house.
But we will teach you how to heat up a burrito in the tank.
Well, there's certain things to learn, but it's a different take. It's different for everybody.
Yes.
It's I think it's different for a country mouse than a city mouse.
Sure.
So
I like the way you put that.
I'm anxious to have those guys on. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Thanks. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with all your home slicers.